On the screen you see a title slide layout showing a basic title that I have typed in. The theme is none. There is no theme on this particular slide. However, we can change that easily by using the Design tab. When you create a new presentation, you can actually go ahead and pick a theme ahead of time, but if you just click blank presentation, you get something like this. To use a theme, we simply click on it, and that theme will be applied. So as you see, we now have a background, some lines that are green, and some other features. With each background or each theme, there are variants. As you see here, we have 4 different variants. If we want to see what something looks like, we can simply point to it. A theme or a variant, we can point to it and get a preview of what our current slide would look like in that theme. You want to design your themes or choose your theme before you add content to your slides. The text boxes for content and titles are in different places for different themes. The title slide will automatically move items to accommodate your theme. Content slides might not do this, especially if you've resized the text boxes or put in images or other elements. Those will not be automatically moved to accommodate your new theme, which might require you to do quite extensive edits throughout your presentation to match your theme. So the best choice is to select the theme before you add content to your presentation. We can also change colors, fonts, effects, and background styles for each theme. For example, I can change this to a blue-green, and as you will see, the lines that were green around the box in the middle are now blue. Just as with the variants and the themes, if I point to a new color set, I will see a preview on my screen of what that new color set will look like. I can even customize colors and really make whatever color I want, or make a custom color set by choosing all the different sets in the color, or all the different sets, or all different colors in the set, all the different colors in the set, and choose what color I want for them. You can also choose an effect. Again, notice as I point, these effects are shown in a preview. If I want the effect, top shadow for example, I simply click. Can also change the font to another font, and as I choose a font, I see a preview. Let's go with Georgia. I can also customize my font and use a different font for the body and the heading. By default, the body and the heading will use the same font if I choose a custom font. I can change that here. So the body, let's say we want to do in Impact. So there you see the body, the subtitle, which has now changed to my new font. In PowerPoint 2013, there are 2 slide sizes. There's Standard and Landscape. Standard is the old 4:3, which was the standard on televisions and monitors until widescreen was widely available. Widescreen, 16:9 or 16:10, is the new standard. However, you need to carefully make this choice before you design your presentation, cognizant of what your output device is going to be. 16:9 slides are wider than a 4:3 slide. A 4:3 slide is almost a square. A 16:9 slide is a rectangle. Understanding your output device helps you make this decision. Some projectors cannot display 16:9 content. it will not work. What will happen is the content will simply be put in a 4:3 layout and items could be cut off or omitted. So choosing the proper layout is very important ahead of time. You don't want to complete your entire presentation in a widescreen format, then realize you need to change it to standard, which cuts down the sizes of your slides. As you will see, when I make the change, you are scaling. Would you like to maximize the size of your content or scale it to make sure it fits? So if I ensure fit, notice how my slide changed quite a bit. I'm going to undo this now for you to see. There was quite a bit less area there. So you don't want to create your 40-slide presentation, be all ready to go, then realize I've got to change my slide layout. Now, it will ensure fit, and it'll do a good job of that, but that won't ensure that everything fits. You might have an image that it might scale and stretch on slide 18. So make this decision ahead of time to avoid any nasty surprises later. Lastly, on the Design tab, we have Format Background. This allows us to change our background. Now, we can do various things here. We can have a solid fill, a gradient fill, a picture, texture, or a pattern fill, or we can hide background graphics altogether by checking this box. I can import a picture, or I can find, as new in 2013, I can find one online. So I'm going to find one online here, and it gives me several options. I can look at SharePoint if I have a SharePoint site. I can use Office Clip Art. I can search from Bing. I can use a OneDrive, or I can import from Facebook or Flickr. I'm going to search here, and I'm just going to say, let's say, football. So we're going to find some clip art here, and we'll use this one. So I'm going to insert this. And now notice my background changes from the wood theme I had to this football themed background. Now, there are two buttons at the bottom here that allow us to make changes. I can now apply this to all. Let's create some more slides here. Now notice my new slides are in the same format I had before. But if I want to apply it to all slides, if I click Apply to all my slides will change to my new format. Notice now I have the football background. So initially, the change will only happen on the slide that I added the back or formatted the background, but I can easily apply it to all. I can also click this Reset Background button that will reset me back to the theme default. So if I make all these changes and decide, you know what, I don't like this. Reset Background quickly undoes all those changes. Really helps. Instead of having to hit the undo button 38 times, I can click Reset Background. It especially is useful if I've done other things in the meantime, like I did here, which is create two more slides. Undo would undo the creation of those slides in addition to the changes I made. Reset Background simply just resets my background where I started and doesn't undo the other changes that I've made. So I can create a pattern. Notice my colors here are based on the selection I made here. The theme colors are based on the theme and the color selection I made here. And I did not mean to click on that. Let me undo that. When I was going up to colors, I accidentally clicked on the variant there. I did not mean to do that. Solid fill is as it is, one solid color with some transparency. We can also do gradients. Let's talk about gradients. A gradient is multiple colors. So here we have a blue or a teal down to a yellow. And we can have different types of gradients here. So shade from title. I can choose my stops here. I can choose the color I want a gradient out to. So this gradient has 4 stops on it. I can drag these around however I want. I can really get detailed here. I can change the position, change the transparency, how bright it's going to be, can make it see-through. So I can do lots of different things with this. I can really get detailed on formatting my slides. Now again, if I choose a gradient, just like a picture, it only applies to the slide I am on unless I hit apply to all. So I'm applying to all, or I'm applying just to the slide that I am on. So if I apply this to all three of my slides change. I decide, you know what, I don't like that. Oh, I can't reset background on a gradient like a picture. The reset background, as you notice, is grayed out. I can't do that. I'll have to undo my changes. Now I can reset the background. So let's redo that. Let's redo that quickly here. Let me reapply that gradient and apply to all. Now notice when I apply to all, I lose the option to reset the background. I can only reset the background if I've only made changes on one slide. And this is the same as picture. I didn't show this, but this is the same as if I chose my picture here. I went back and chose football again, chose this guy here, said apply to all. Notice I can no longer reset the background. I can only reset the background if I've only made a change on one slide. So that is the Design tab in a nutshell. We might return to the Design tab later in the course. We'll cover the other options. So that's the Design tab in a nutshell. Quickly, let's cover the other options here. We also have effects. We can do some artistic effects here with our slide. Again, making slight changes to our slide. We can also do corrections. If we imported a picture, we can do some corrections on the picture and the color. These options are very similar to the options you find in Word or other Office applications for picture correction. Now you will notice in Office 13, things that were dialog boxes in previous versions of Office have now become sidebars. This is because of the emphasis on the touch interface. A sidebar is much easier to use than a dialog box. The other advantage to this method is you can make multiple corrections without having to revisit the dialog box. This stays up until I close it out, so I can make as many changes as I need without having to revisit the dialog box multiple times, because now it's simply a sidebar. My presentation is automatically scaled down when I have the sidebar open. Notice I'm at 86%. I close out the sidebar, I return to my default, which is 103%. Now, let's talk about layouts. In our presentation so far, we have two layouts. We have a title slide, and then we have this layout, which is called Title with Content. By default, slide 1 will be a title slide. Each additional slide created will be title by content. As I mentioned in the previous lesson, if I create a new slide and I've changed the layout of the previous slide, the new slide will receive the same layout as the previous slide. So on slide 3 here, I want to change the layout. To change the layout, I can do two things. On the Home tab, I can come here to Layout and choose the layout I want. Picture with caption, for example. I can also change the layout by right-clicking on a slide and selecting Layout. The ribbon, or this way, works with multiple slides. So if I highlight slide 2 and 3, I can change the layout like that, or I can change the layout by right-clicking and choosing the layout I want. So panoramic picture with caption. So if I create slide 4, since I changed the layout of slide 3, slide 4 is not going to be a title with content slide. It's going to be a panoramic with title slide, because that's the layout of the previous slide. Now I'm free to change slide 4 back to a title with content. Then if I create slide 5, I will have a title and content, because that's what the previous slide had. Now there are many layouts. This theme has 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 layouts. The number of layouts depends on the theme. Most themes have 15 layouts, but it depends on the theme. Some do not have all the different layouts. The ones you'll use most common are title slide, title and content, and blank. Blank allows you to just put on the slide whatever you want. There are no predefined elements. You can add an image, add a text box, add smart art. We'll cover how to do all that later in the course. But for right now, just know the default layout is slide 1 will be a title slide. Every additional slide created will be title with content. I can have multiple title slides in my presentation. Let's say this presentation has different sections. I've done it all in one presentation, but I want to introduce each section. I can do title slides. I can also do section headers for that. Just a little different, just a little smaller title. The title's not as big because it's a section and not the main title of the PowerPoint. How you do that is up to you. So in this lesson, we looked at themes, their variants, colors, fonts, and effects. We also looked at slide layouts.